Radio Network.
Nick Saban does not play anybody less than he doesn't put anybody less on the field than his very best players.
Bama does what Bama do. Sorry, I heard a noise. My bad. Somebody just left it on. Left it on my step.
That Colorado defense is definitely underrated, but they ended up pulling it out late. They have one of the players to watch for, Isaiah Spiller.
Oh, it's better. It's better now. Trust me. Like back in the day, there was at least one murder. So I mean, it's better now.
You realize that you're not doing anything to press your case by getting me to go down there. No, man, come on down there. It was only one murder. They're only averaging one murder a year.
And shout out to Florida. They're playing them this Saturday. Number 11 ranked Florida playing number 1 Alabama. So I think that's going to be a high scoring game. And
wow. Well played, Colin. Well played. I did not see that one coming. you get a double finger point, one for me and one for Sean. You know, you get.
Here we go. Get your popcorn ready.
Well, what's the big thing?
Hey there. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How is everyone doing this evening? Today is Monday, December 20th, 2021. 5, count them. 5 days to Christmas. 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus 1, that's 6. Quick maths right here. And it is time for this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. I am one of the hosts of the show, Mr. Fingers, coming to you from Zagnif Live in Oklahoma City. That fella right over there, he's flipping his fingers around and he just don't care. He is the hardest working man in the Northern Virginia sports podcast vlogging business. Mr. Sean Spencer joining us this evening. Colin is going to be joining us soon. There seems to be some issue going on with the internet in his neighborhood, so he might be trying to join later. And we might have another special guest joining us later on. So we want to thank you first and foremost for joining us this evening. This week's show, sponsored as always by our illustrious sponsor, DJG Enterprises and Greek Gans. Go see them today. Get all your custom sports gear today. Laser engraved tumblers, custom made Afghans. Do you need it? They got it at www.greekgans.com. All right. Hey, Sean, what's going on with you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, football, bowls. This is the perfect time of the year. Bittersweet, because it's almost over.
I know, right?
Like wait another 6 months, man.
Dude, it seemed like just yesterday you hit me up. I was like, dude, you know, you really could do a sports podcast. And I'm like, nah. You like, but you an SEC dude. And I'm like, nah. And he was like, but then we could do this together. And I'm like, nah. Yeah, for real? And now here it is. We are 17 episodes in, ladies and gentlemen. 17. Didn't think we could do it. Now we got not 1, not 2, but 3 small. Oh, I sound like LeBron talking about how many championships he's gonna win in Miami. I didn't mean to do that, but we got a couple of sponsors. We got a whole store full of merch, and we you know, like Michael Bublé said, and I'm feeling good. So see, you know, you want to talk about the race. I like to sing and do impersonation. That's our thing there. So yeah, it just getting started. It seemed like we were just getting started, and now boom, it's bowl game season. In a couple of weeks, we'll know who's going to the championship, and then we'll have to sit on our thumbs and wonder whether or not the people in Fansville ever figure out they live in a snow globe for the next 6 months.
Yeah, they keep rerunning that commercial a lot, and it's kind of like, all right, we all know, move on, or at least recap the olds or do something.
Nah, you know what's going on, man. They contracted for so many commercials through the season, and then it got to the end, and I think they might have another. Who just joined? Somebody just joined us. Let's go and see who's in the green room. Backpack. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are in for a treat. I hope you're holding on to the edges of your seats and your seat belts are fastened and your trays are in the upright and locked position, because joining us, the man, the myth, the late night king of sports podcasting, the man that gave Cream Bigums his trademark saying. What you say now, Chuck? This man right here, Mr. Nathan Snell from the Big Nate Podcast. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
What's up,
Man,
Nate?
come on. What did I tell you about that, man? I gave you this whole big introduction. Like, what's up?
It's all right. It's Monday.
Yeah.
Monday, nothing. It's the Monday before Christmas. It's a short week.
For some.
You think I'm playing? I'm getting ready to get me some Adidas from the thrift shop. I'm gonna pop some tags and get me some Adidas from the thrift shop and throw on my ugly Christmas sports jacket and throw a Kangol on my head and go up in there and be Run DMC with my phone on my ear like a boombox blasting Christmas and hollers.
Oh my goodness!
And dare somebody say something. What? We ain't gonna be here Thursday. What? Anyway, how you doing, man? Oh, I asked you that already. You said, yeah, we good. It's Monday. Anyway, we were just getting ready to get into it, man. So we can go ahead and jump right on into it with the bowl recap. Man, so many bowls, so little time. There were actually a lot more bowls than I thought there were over the weekend. The Marshall Thundering Herd come up short against the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, 36-21. Despite the high scoring affair, it didn't look like there was a whole hoopla of offense that anybody happened to catch. Did any of you happen to catch the game?
Yeah. I absolutely
of course, Mister. I got the new TV in the bedroom and got 3 in the living room. Of course, he saw the game.
Well, no, I mean, this is honestly, guys, this is my favorite time of the year. Absolutely. You have all games in NFL mean something. All games in college mean something. And like I said before, Anthony, it's bittersweet because in just 2 months, we're done. You know what I mean? We end with the Super Bowl in early February, and then it's back to hibernating. Or me going back to podcasts and whatever. Honestly, I've been following the Raging Cajuns for a while. They got this quarterback, Levi Lewis, is actually he's like I said with Cincinnati, 3-year starter. He's been around for a while. He's led that team. They were quietly 11-1, but obviously because they're in the Sun Belt, dubbed the Fun Belt, nobody's really paying attention to them. Marshall had a good start to the season, and then they fell off late. I think they were like 6-0 to start, and then kind of fell off later in the year.
Wow, you want to talk about a fall off? The 6-0, and then the wind up finishing 7-6.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that because I know they started early because like with West Virginia, my fiance's family is big on the West Virginia schools, so they're definitely following that. But yeah, this game, it wasn't even as close as the score indicated, and it was kind of just Louisiana is kind of like a powerhouse in the Sun Belt, so. But it's always good to see them, and they always play in the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. So it's like every year you got the home court advantage. You know what I mean? So
right. Well, I definitely can see Levi Lewis. 12 carries for 74 yards. Actually, he was the second leading rusher on the team.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 270 on 19 completions on 31 attempts with 1 touchdown. So very, very efficient. Congratulations to the Raging Cajuns. I work with a guy from Louisiana. He basically roots for any team from Louisiana. He doesn't care who it is. The only time he cares is if they're playing against LSU. That's the guy that made me wear this medium shirt. So he was kind of walking around with his chest stuck out at work today. As you would say, shouts out to the number 23 Louisiana Raging Cajuns and their win. In their bowl game. So that brings us to our next game, which is, and it's taken forever to pull up, the Western Kentucky. You know what? I never knew that Western Kentucky's mascot was the Hilltoppers.
Mm-hmm.
The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers versus App State. We do know that App State always has the potential to be dangerous and mess up your day. Not so much here. Almost beaten by 20. Almost beaten by 20, scored 59-38. Western Kentucky at 9 and finishing the season up at 9-5.
You know who's on that Western Kentucky team, though. You know that's the new record holder the new guy that has broken the most passing yards in a single season and the most passing touchdowns in a single season, Mr. Bailey Zappi. This guy leads the country in throwing. So Appalachian State putting up 38 is pretty solid on the fact that they put up 59 on them jokers.
Yeah, well, that defense must have been playing pretty solid too, because two quarterbacks played for App State. Each of them had an interception. Chase Bryce did manage to three. That's no slouch though. 317 on 15 completions with 4 touchdowns.
App State's
Not
no
bad.
slouch. App State is not bad at all.
Yeah, they came in at 10-3. They came in at 10-3, wound up finishing 10-4. Western Kentucky finishing up at 9-5. Bailey Zappi, 33 completions, 422 yards, 6 touchdowns, no pickles.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Look, the game was tight up until halftime. It was 31-24 at the half, and everybody was talking, is he going to break the record? Is he going to do it? That second half, they lit them up, like especially that third quarter, hit 2 early touchdowns, broke the record, got the celebration, and then they just kept scoring. They just kept scoring, and App State is more of a running team. They just could not go blow for blow with them. Hey, shout out to Bailey Zappi. You know, I unfortunately, like a lot of the quarterbacks that run in the air raid offense, I don't know if it's going to translate to the pros unless he gets behind, a couple quarterbacks and could sit there for a while. But hey, shout out to him, because this is nothing to sleep about. Breaking records in college football, especially these two as a quarterback, is definitely a solid thing. Mute.
You're muted.
Unless he winds up going to a team like the Jets or something like that, where he's going to wind up having to throw the ball all the time because they're playing from behind. But I mean,
hopefully he won't have to do any of that this year, because hopefully he's just not that good on the list. Right.
Well, there are some teams that are hurting very badly. Of course, those teams that are hurting very badly are closer to the top of the pecking order in the draft. And of course, they're going to be trying to pick from the pick of the litter. But as we know, injury sometimes rears its ugly head. Boy, as you and I were talking before the show about my boy Jake Fromm, one of the greatest UGA quarterbacks to wear the double ones, got his pro start on Sunday and looked very, very solid. But we're talking college football today. We're not going to go down that road. Western Kentucky, 215 yards rushing, led by Noah Whittington with 151 touchdown. Appalachian State actually had 251 rushing and 1 touchdown, led by Cameron Peoples with 101 yards. Could have been more, but they had a couple of very serious tackles for loss, one of which was a sack, 25-yard sack, Chase Bryce. So the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, king of the hill in the Boca Raton Bowl. We're going to keep this thing moving along. The UTEP two-step minors. I can't say UTEP without the two-step. I don't. If you say UTEP and somebody else says two-step, that tells you just how old they are. The minors of UTEP take on the Fresno State Bulldogs. The score looks to be a lot closer than the game actually was, although the stats are fairly close, except for Jordan Mims with his 165 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, he also got one receiving too. Yeah, he got a receiving touchdown too. He got 3 total, man. He balled out. I know I gambled on this game, and I bet on his starter, and then game time they said his starter was not playing. So Mims did his thing. But shout out to Hainer, their quarterback, got enough done. Look, it was a close game. It was good. And up until late, UTEP actually led. Or no. They were down by, I think it's about 10. They came back. They made it look good. Late in the game, they down on the 4th down, they messed it up. But UTEP looked good. But Fresno State, 10-3. Shout out to them. Got that 10-win season.
Yeah, congratulations to the Fresno State Bulldogs and the Pueblo Mobile, New Mexico. A ball. All right. I just had to throw that out there. I mean, I know we football, but you can't say football without just hearing it. Oh, goal. All right. On to the Linden Tree Bowl. Liberty lit up the scoreboard on Eastern Michigan. 56-20 was not close all the way out the gate. Liberty came out hard all the way out the gate, leading by 10 in the first, and never looked back. And yeah, just an ugly game all the way around. What you got, Sean? What you got on that?
No, I think they're better than their record. They're only 7-5. I think one of the key tests was when they played Ole Miss, an SEC team, and they only lost them 27-14. You know what I mean? And this is, Liberty. This is a Christian school. It's funny, whenever their games come on, they have these commercials where it's like, we all want to see succeed in Christ. And it's just like, it just catches you off guard because you don't think, and there's a pause, and then they bring that in. So, I mean, look, shout out to him. Malik Willis is my guy, man. 231, 3 TDs, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. This guy right here, honestly, I hope somebody does not reach on this guy and get him early in the draft. I need him to sit back so he can go somewhere like with Tomlin or maybe with Belichick, and he can learn. Because this guy's raw, he has talent, but he can also he has that kind of talent, kind of like Hundley, like what we're seeing. We're right now where everybody needs a quarterback. That's not Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. These couple guys, everybody needs a quarterback. I could see somebody grabbing him and say, hey, go in there and save the franchise. And then you talked about it multiple times, Anthony, ruining these kids' first 3-4 years because they jumped on a really crappy team. So I hope he doesn't get picked that early, but the guy's showing promise. And shout out to Eastern Michigan. I love their jerseys, but they didn't show that.
Yeah, but I mean, the funny thing is when you look at the stats that I'm looking at right now, it looks fairly evenly matched up until you get to the rushing. I mean, Liberty only outpassed them by 50 yards. But when you get down to the rushing, Liberty had 230, like they outrushed them by almost 100 yards, by actually more than 100 yards. But even then, nobody really jumped out at you. There wasn't like it wasn't like Michigan with Hassan Haskins just dominating the entire game.
Right.
So that's where that was with that.
It was all Malik too. Remember, it was all Malik. I think these are games. This is why I love these games, because this is an extra bit of footage now for him to say, hey, here you go. I want to play. I want to prolong my playing career. This is what I can do. You know what I mean? And Eastern Michigan's not a top tier program, but hey, they're in that solid program, right?
And he did what he needed.
He put 56 on him. Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. Yeah, you play cupcakes. But when you play cupcakes, it's just like you play Vanderbilt, you're supposed to hang 60 or more on Vanderbilt. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't just show up and play down to them and then, wind up like, oh, we better play for real. And then, winning by 2 in the fourth quarter on some crazy trick play. But congratulations to them in the Linden Tree Bowl, moving this thing forward. Utah State. I almost got excited because I thought I was going to get to use one of my favorite clips. Ironically, it's on right.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
Yeah, not necessarily not the clip. Yeah, not time for that just yet. They play a little later on. The Utah State Aggies, although Utah State coming in the bowl game, 11-3. Wait a minute. When did Jimmy Kimmel get a bowl?
I don't know. I did see that. The Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
Hold on a minute. Jimmy Kimmel has a bowl named after him.
Yeah.
Okay. Crazy. Anyway, I guess that just goes.
Where do I sign up for that? Like,
bruh, let me look.
The Sean Spencer Bowl, right?
Right. Look.
Hold up. Is Nate in a silent picture here?
Nate's just thinking.
See these subtitles, right?
Look. Mine would be Ben and Jerry. Look, the Ben and Jerry chocolate chip cookie dough, Mr. Fingers Bowl.
Yes.
The Earl's Rib palette. The Earl's Rib. The Earl's Rib Palace Zagnif Bowl. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one right there, Skip Bayless. That's the
There
one.
you go.
That's
There
the
you
one.
go.
All right, Utah State Aggies 24-13 over the Oregon Beavers. Looks like it was a little bit tight. The receiving 273 for Utah State, 263 for Oregon. Interceptions on both sides of the ball. Not a whole lot of offense. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. Chance Nolan did actually ball out a little bit. He threw for 263, but it just wasn't enough to get him over the hump.
Yeah. Well, Cooper. Shout out to Cooper Lagasse. This was his first start. He's a sophomore, a true sophomore. And first pass, 50-yarder on a dime to his guy. I think it's Tompkins. I think this was one of his main guys, Devin Tompkins, for a touchdown. Gets another one in there. I mean, it's not a bad Oregon State team. I'm actually surprised how good Utah State's record is. I did not. You want to talk about under the radar? I mean, they are mining for gold, like 11-3.
Yeah.
Wow. So, shout out to him, man. Tyler's pretty solid, 120 and a touchdown. So I like what I saw.
Yeah.
I caught a little bit of this one.
Yeah, congratulations to the Aggies of Utah State and the I didn't know that guy had a bowl game bowl. All righty.
How did Jimmy Kimmel get a bowl? That's crazy.
I'm saying that remind me of Rakim the guy back in the day. How you get a record deal? No, I'm sorry, Big Daddy Kane. How you get a record deal? The team that we have loved to talk about, we've talked about this team off and on all season long. The Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina wrap up their season as the team with the NCAA D1 team with the best record in football in the state of South Carolina, defeating the Northern Illinois Huskies 41-47. This one I didn't get to watch, but I did get to follow the stats.
This one was good.
This one was a nail biter down to the end. Lombardi almost led them on a game-winning drive.
Talk about transfer portal.
Yeah, had him right down there in the red zone. Wasn't quite able to get it done. Time expires. Chanticleers rushed the field. I don't know if they rushed the field or not, but I would imagine they did. Second 10 or better win season in a row for the Chanticleers. I think they're doing good things with that program there. I also look for, if they have another season like this, and we have another coaching carousel, I'm looking for somebody to come down and try and snatch up their coach as a coordinator of some sort, or maybe somebody offer him a head coaching job. I mean, it happens.
I hope he stays put. I can see that happening. Just that's the trend. But hopefully, I want them to still go under the radar, because honestly, if you get the right recruits, it's an easy program to win because you're not going up against that much talent. Like Northern Illinois is the best team they played, and shout out to them. We talked about the transfer portal. Their quarterback, Rocky Lombardi, is a guy that played 2 or 3 years over at Michigan State. This guy was getting playtime a year ago, and he transferred, got over here, and I didn't even know he'd gone over here until I seen him at the conference championship, and he was balling out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he was outplayed stat-wise, but he woke up in that fourth quarter. I mean, sometimes all you have to do is do enough to keep your team in a position to where you can win. I mean, he was the passing stats. Grayson McCall had about 250 more yards passing and 2 more TDs than he did, but he did enough to keep him right there, and they had the opportunity to win the game at the end of the game. Now, of course, you want to be winning the game and not have to be chasing. But if you happen to find, as old folks say, if you just so happen, that's 3 words they put together. I don't know how to spell it. It's just, if you just so happen to find yourself trailing in the fourth quarter, you want to be in a position where you can make that comeback. And he doggone near pulled it off.
Right. No, well, it was actually, so that they came into the fourth quarter leading. Northern Illinois did. And then Grayson McCall was the one who actually, he came back on him. He put 2 late touchdowns to bring them back in the game. So shout out to them, because they should not have, Northern Illinois should not have lost for all intents and purposes, but that's why the Chanticleers are that new team, like you were saying, Anthony. That's why they're the new up-and-coming squad that, maybe they're going to be the ones, all these teams you see with Oklahoma and Texas moving to the SEC, maybe this is one of the teams that moves up a conference to maybe, as their program starts building.
We shall see what we shall see. I think that there's still a little bit of leeriness around the Power 5 conferences and bringing on some of these G5 teams. I mean, think about it. You had UCF at one point. You had UCF and USF were the best programs in Florida, and not so much anymore. But then, too, the coach, which one of them was it? Was it Frost? Was Scott Frost at UCF that went to Nebraska?
Yes.
Yeah. So Scott Frost ran off to Nebraska. But he speaks. Oh my God. He said, Sean, I baby said his first word. Oh my goodness. That's so good. You get a gold sticker. Oh my God. Okay, I said it for you, Nate. Congratulations to the Chanticleers winning the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl. Next one up. Little Northern Virginia locality-based action, the Old Dominion Monarchs, in what I think is their first bowl appearance in a while. Am I correct?
In a while, yes. Because I don't think they went last year. I don't think they went.
I mean, they didn't have that impressive a record. They finished at 500.
They didn't make it last year, no.
They didn't make it. Okay, so I thought.
They finished up at 500, but they managed to make themselves bowl eligible. And it's basically, to tell you the truth, I'm impressed they only got doubled up on. I've not seen them play, but I've got a goodly amount of friends, goodly amount of my Ashburn folks from my Ashburn karaoke shows back in the day. A lot of them went to ODU. They either went to ODU or Radford. So I've been following them. They've not been horrible, but they've not been great. They've been kind of middle of the road. So for them to take on Tulsa and only lose by 13, yes, we talk about those moral victories. A loss is still a loss, but I think that was fairly impressive on their part. It wasn't an offensive show of offensive firepower. Davis Brennan did throw for 285 and 2 touchdowns. And Shamari Brooks had a touchdown, and he put a $107 on the Monarchs. But they weren't, like I said, not a big show, offensive show of firepower, but still.
Fun fact: their kick return, that was the first time since 2017, the Military Bowl, that someone from Old Dominion had a kick return over 100 yards.
Yep.
Okay. And this was the Myrtle Beach Bowl, presented by Tax Act. Sean, you got anything else you want to put on that?
Yeah, no, it was a tale of two halves. My little brother and my little brother graduated from there, and my fiance got her second master's from there. So we all actually watched Old Dominion. It was actually the first half. They didn't look that bad. Like the first half, they looked like, hey, we're doing good. And then I think they went to the halftime, started smelling themselves. They got blanked in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter they at least tried to make it decent with that touchdown. But it was 30-20, or it was 30-10 late or early in the fourth. So it's one of those situations where it just was not going to happen. But with that talent, with all the things that they have, I mean, one of their biggest claim to fame right now is Taylor Heineke. And he came back and he's talked to the quarterbacks and the coach and everything like that. So hopefully they can get this thing going. But look, ODU
still got some work to do. But hey, look, trending upward. Last year, not so much. This year they played in the bowl and actually played it pretty tight for at least 2.5 quarters. So that's the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Let's see. All right. This next game I am looking forward to talking about just because one of the guys that I follow goes by the name of Uncle Lou. He's been doing YouTube videos on the University of Georgia and other schools for about 13, 14 years now. He loves to call the team from Utah the bicycle school because of the you see those Mormons riding around. I want to know that. Look, that must be a banging church right there for you to be able to be 16 years old and be an elder in your church. Do you have a minute to talk about the word of Jesus? Anyway, BYU comes up just a field goal and some change short against the Blazers of University of Alabama, Birmingham, 31-28. 13, number 13 Cougars finished the season 10-3. What you got on that? Either of you gentlemen, please.
Nathan.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Game. No.
Yeah, the game. Anything to put in on the game? Anything you saw? Anything stood out to you?
No, I think you guys pretty much hit it on the head. I mean, it's just for me building on for next season. They got a decent class coming in. So,
okay. UAB actually has been is one of those teams that they're a little bit better than their record indicates. They finished the regular season 9-3. I'm sorry, they finished the season 8-4. Now 9-4 with the bowl game win in the Independence Bowl. But they've been sneaking up on some folks. They snuck up on some folks, and Brigham Young once again, and they're coming to the Big 12. Brigham Young's got some work to do. I mean, last year was the Chanticleers that we just talked about. This year it's the Blazers, and it's not that the Blazers didn't. I mean, the Blazers are obviously a good team. They beat them. It's not that the Chanticleers have not been a good team. Chanticleers have won 22, 23 games in 2 seasons. It's just that, when you're claiming to be a major Power 5 school in what is supposed to be a major Power 5 conference, although Pac-12 hasn't been relevant in a little while, you should be able to come up with that W. And they couldn't make it happen. Even with Algier running for almost 200 yards.
Yeah, I think it was defense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a back and forth game. It was literally you land a blow, I land a blow. It was like who's going to be having the ball last, and ended up being that it was a 4th down play. The UAB had the ball last. They were able to complete the pass, get the touchdown. I mean, this is a program that was almost dead in the water. I mean, like almost SMU style. Like the program was almost kaput. You know what I mean? So the fact that they are 8-4 coming into this, and then 9-4 with W, and doing it over a number 13 ranked BYU is huge. But yeah, you're right. This is a major letdown. Algier did have his 2 touchdowns. He did play a pretty solid game, but he didn't get going until the second half. Early, he was not really that productive. So,
do you think that was they were trying to figure out the kinks and trying to? Okay.
Well, now he got a touchdown here. He got a touchdown. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he got 2 touchdowns early. No, he got just one early, but he was slowly doing, but it was like close to the goal line type stuff. The second half, he starts gashing them, because the second half, once you start, running these guys over and over and over, then the defenses start getting winded. They started pushing it late in the game, and it was crazy because UAB was passing it over the top, but BYU just stuck with that running game. You know what I mean? So,
do you think someone like do you think Algier will probably transfer or declare for the draft?
Let me see what year he is.
Okay, in a second. Let's see who gets there first.
He's a sophomore. So
Nah, he's not jumping out yet.
He's had 1,600 yards and 23 touchdowns this year.
So. Yeah, if he can't go this year, but watch him make that jump next year, especially if he has another year like this.
What about McBride?
His quarterback?
No, Dwayne Mcbride, because he was 20. He's 20th with 1,188 yards rushing.
From where?
He's from McBride from UAB. He's also a sophomore.
From UAB. Oh, yeah.
He's a sophomore also.
Yeah.
He's a sophomore also. So I'm looking to see. I mean, UAB has been, I won't say trending upward, but they've been holding steady. They've kind of gotten to that level where they're just holding steady, where they haven't leveled up the world beaters yet, but they haven't slid back into mediocrity status. And they managed to knock somebody and knock a couple of big names in the mouth every year. They managed to knock a couple of big names in the mouth every year, and they did it again right here in the Independence Bowl on national television. BYU, I'm just telling you, yes, Oklahoma and Texas are leaving, but now you're entering a conference that's going to have Cincinnati, And we've still got who's still left in there? You still got OSU to contend with, who has come up big this year. You've still got Baylor, who is consistently in the top 2% of in the top. Well, that number is a little bit off since there's only 12 teams in the conference, but still in the upper echelon of the conference. And Iowa State, and so you got some work to do. I mean, BYU is getting ready to. I think they're making a jump in 2023. BYU is getting ready to be relegated to the bottom of the barrel if they don't do something quick. Because they're another one of those. There's the man with the plan. So ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can get him on. Oh, you're sideways. There you are. Ladies and gentlemen, finally able to join us, the brother from another.
Hey.
The man that gave us the phrase that is selling like hotcakes on T-shirts and hoodies all across.
The Bama does what Bama do.
Mr. Colin P.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm late, man. Trying to work on this internet thing, man. It's funny that I have to work on the internet when you work from Verizon. It's a funny thing.
You are good.
Yeah, man. We were just running through these bowl recaps here. We were talking about BYU UAB. We were just saying that BYU definitely has work to be done just because they're looking at jumping in a conference where it's not going to be one of those deals. Oops. No, I don't want all y'all small. I don't want y'all small. I don't want everybody's face cut off either. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Because this right here we look like an NSYNC album.
Absolutely. Hey, NWA, it looks like, right?
Yeah, right. Straight out of count. Anyway, no, let me come back. BYU, like I said, BYU is getting ready to go in the conference. It's got OSU, it's got Baylor, it's got Iowa State, and those are the three schools that get you. Then you don't know which Kansas is going to show up from year to year. BYU is going to wind up relegating themselves to the bottom of the barrel because of their religious affiliation, and I think they have a little bit more stringent academic admission standards. Maybe not quite as stringent as Notre Dame, but they still got academic standards. So they're only picking from a select number of people to come and play there. And you're going to be going up against teams that, hey, look, you got a 2.2. Can you know the difference between the cover 3 and the spread? Come on, play football. We'll teach you. Don't matter. Just hit the man with the jersey that's in the other color. That's it. That's all you got to do.
That's true.
Thoughts, anybody?
I mean, they've been getting talent. They got the number 2 pick in the draft, so somehow they getting them boys that want to do it, and they getting them big boys that ride bikes, and they got full of energy. And I can't explain it because I don't know how I wouldn't want to go to BYU because I knew somebody that went to BYU, and he was talking about you got to do the pilgrimage or whatever, the little thing where you got to go out there for a while and then come back. Like it's not even
kind of like missionary stuff.
Yeah, like a little missionary thing you got to do. So I was like, oh, word. He was like, yeah, you got to do that. So I
thought that was up your alley though, bro. You the main one always want to give us scripture during the show. If it ain't you, it's Janae. I thought that would be right up your alley.
Hey, look, you've been saying it the whole time, right? If I'm getting the word out this way, maybe I'm just being the preacher. Come on now. You've been saying it every single time. Now somebody whoever is listening to you is now hearing the scripture. If what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to help spread the word. I'm just doing that. You just caught on. Thank you, brother.
Hey, Anthony's notorious. Anthony's notorious say just a thought, not a sermon, right? You know what I mean?
Right?
Just a thought, not a sermon.
Hey,
just a sermon, not a thought. That McLean Bible Church had, boy.
Man.
I'm just saying, Jesus said, even the very rocks will cry out with his word when he returns. So don't you sit here and act like don't sit here and act like you can't get sanctified when you can. If you heard a Kirk Franklin song come on and you tapped your foot 2 times, that was the Holy Ghost tapping you on the shoulder saying, maybe you need to pay attention to what's going on over there because there's 2 brothers over there getting ready to fight over a rock that they think is a crack rock that's really a sugar cube that somebody sold her from Denny's, and you need to go that way. So anyway, I'm sorry.
Every time you do that voice, I think of Norbert. Oh, my God. We have a dandelion encrusted rib. Now, go ahead, sorry.
You can't do that to me, man. We gonna keep this. We gonna keep. Hey, glad you made it to the show, bro.
Didn't take that long, did it?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Glad you made it in. And last but not least, the one that shook up the world. This is the one where the victor was standing in the end zone, yelling, "I shook up the world! I shook up the world!" Like young Cassius Clay. The Celebration Bowl, the 2021 Celebration Bowl. Highly favored Jackson State is upset by South Carolina.
We got a rivalry next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely now. This is one thing that I will say. Having gone to HBCU, and Sean, you did the same. One thing that's big in HBCU football is rivalries. Mm-hmm. And I think over the last 15, 20 years, a lot of those rivalries have remained constant at some of the bigger schools. But for the most part, for the rest of the smaller schools that nobody knows about except the folks that went to the HBCUs, like folks don't know. Only reason people know Savannah State is because Shannon Sharp came from there. They don't know about the Fort Valley States and the Albany States and all of those things like that. Those rivalries run deep. And I think that this right here could potentially be the reboot of these HBCU rivalries, because Jackson State was Sonny Liston and South Carolina State was Cassius Marcellus Clay. Mm-hmm. 23 years old, ain't got a mark on my face. So what you got on this? Who wants to jump in first? Jump in where you get in.
Lights are too bright. That's
definitely
what it looked like.
Definitely.
I think that's what it looked like.
Well, I
gotta have them bright because y'all wouldn't be able to see me if I didn't turn them on.
Was anybody?
Oh, you was talking about the football game. My bad.
Was anybody surprised that Jackson they got beat down like they did? I mean, was it?
I thought they'd put up a better showing than that.
So did I.
That's what I would have thought. At.
Yeah,
only 10 points.
South Carolina looked okay.
Okay, go ahead, Colin.
Well, no, I'm saying I thought I'd see a tighter score. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they would have won or nothing, but I thought, they had that fire, like Deion put that fire in them, and getting the recruits and kind of stuff like that. I mean, not saying they have the talent now, but they're definitely on the up and coming. But I mean, I did think they were better than what they showed. Score wise. I mean, I didn't watch the game. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch it. But I didn't see too much of it on the field. But, yeah, I thought it would be a little closer game.
I feel like the focus was not on really preparing for the game. I think it was more of, we're celebrating. We got the number one corner of the nation. I felt like that kind of took away from the true focus of the game. They only had 200 yards as an offense. They didn't look right. They didn't look ready to play football. They looked by halftime. By the fourth quarter, they looked defeated.
No, they were looking at too far ahead, right? I mean, they're looking at next year. They ain't worried about this year. They already done,
I think you were right. Even by halftime, they looked defeated. Look, one team looked like they were on national TV, and this was their opportunity to put some good tape out there. The whole world's watching. And another team looked like, are we supposed to show up? They didn't look. Jackson State they didn't look good. And South Carolina State looked like this is our opportunity. Let's show up. They look good. The quarterback drop back, 3-point, bop, bop, bop. He's hitting guys in the corner. You know what I mean? And tell me you saw the one dude scored a touchdown for South Carolina State and then start to do the Dion in there. I was like, no, he didn't do it to him, man. But hey,
he did. Don't hurt him, Hammer.
Right?
Don't hurt him, Hammer.
Hammer don't hurt him. That's right.
Yeah. One team looked like they was ready to play, and the other team looked like, we're flashy. We got a nice shiny helmets, but we not ready to play. Because South Carolina State dancing on them in the end zone and doing the whole. I'm like, dang, y'all did it to him.
I'm all for taking a guy out. You're not going to show me up like that. No, right. I'm all for mauling a guy.
That dog. Calm down, Sean Payton.
Sweep the leg.
Fun facts. The 2 years since Deion's been head coach, It was his first loss against an FCS team, and the last time that happened, they lost to Louisiana Monroe by 5.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
Very.
I think that my thoughts. I gotta take you back about 33 years, where these two young men out of New York by the name of Carlton Douglas Rittenhauer and William Drayton, two aspiring musicians, they wrote this song, and the song became very popular. And the tagline of the song became emblazoned in urban lingo, and it was very simple. It was a 4-word phrase: "Don't believe the hype."
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. These guys, everybody has been. It's almost like, you know how we talked about dog. It's been so long since we talked about him. I can't remember his name. Spencer Rattler. You know how we talked about Spencer Rattler, how he was hyped in high school. He had the QB1 show. That's all he talked about. Spencer Rattler, Spencer Rattler, Spencer Rattler. By the time he set foot on campus, you can tell this boy he wasn't going to win a Heisman every year, a national championship every year, and be the #1 draft pick. And now he is going to be playing in South Carolina with Shane Beamer, by the way. Since I don't know, I think that came up since we were last on. And that's all we heard about, how Deion is retooling the face of the HBCUs, and he gave them he got the money for the new weight facility, and they got the new uniforms, and they got the suits, and you see him in the locker room, and Deion giving the speech talking about play my damn music, and they singing their song before they come out. You know what I mean? And that became the premier school in terms of who people saw.
I mean, he's given something a school, particularly young guys, particularly African Americans, like he's letting them know that, hey, like if you put your mind to something, good things will happen. I mean, you can't say. I mean, unfortunately, like there are HBCUs that are not in the same position, like Jackson State. Grambling State, they got Hugh Jackson. That's great. Man, I know Master P's. I forgot what sport he plays. He just transferred from HBCU because he said the biggest thing was there's not enough resources. So, like, I think Deion puts a spotlight on that. Hey, like we got some guys from these schools that are not Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma. They can play the game of football just as, if not better. So, I mean, I think he set the tone for what
You're right.
I think the thing for me, you touched on it a little bit, and I want to expound upon it a little bit. The thing with, like, you mentioned Grambling, and that was kind of where I was going with it. Grambling was in the spotlight as the premier HBCU when it came to football, but the thing with Eddie Robinson was, if you come out here and you knock heads and you play ball and you fight for every inch and every yard and contest every catch, and you let that receiver know that you're out there and pop him in his chest when he comes across the middle of the field, the attention will come to you. You don't have to generate the attention. Deion generated the attention without. I mean, I'm not. No doubt that Deion is a great motivator, but I think the element that Deion was missing, at least where this game is concerned, is teaching the boys to be humble. And that's the big thing. Like, if it was Eddie Robinson, Eddie'd be smacking these boys upside the head, be like, sit your little so-and-so down somewhere. You think you're doing something, you ain't done nothing yet.
Eddie Robinson wouldn't be rolling around in a damn little scooter. I'm sorry. Look, I understand that he's got the foot injury and everything like that, but that I can't, man. That just takes away from it. Him rolling around on that scooter, and I didn't think I had a problem with it. I've seen him in it most of this year, but when I saw it on TV and then I saw their performance, I'm like, man, yeah, that would distract me. If my coach was rolling around on a little scooter and doing all that, I just think Aflac, all the Aflac commercials. He just
his head. Yeah, Dion has.
I don't
his
know.
tendencies. His head's bigger than what it's.
I think he's focusing on other things. I agree with you guys. He's trying to bring all of the HBCUs up. His name, these other coaches. He's trying to bring Jackson State all it up. I just think it didn't show on the field. Like, you're the coach. You know what I mean? We talk about Saban. We talk about your guy. We talk about all these coaches, riling these guys up and doing this. And this is national TV. And I saw his presser before, and he was like, "Yo, look, we just gotta, no, this is, we're ready to play. We just gotta be ready to go out here and show, hey, 11-1 is nothing. We still gotta play these guys, blah blah blah." And I'm like, okay, all right, maybe you got them pumped up. No, they look bad. They didn't look good, and it was embarrassing, and I felt bad. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, look at the distractions, man. Look at the shiny helmets. Look at all that. And it's easy to look at that stuff because they got beat, and they got beat the way they did, But when it was their play. But it was just like the distractions are there.
It's hard not to when you have been this person for so long,
right?
And you've been this person, and you have all of these things. Those things, the trappings over here might have not had anything to do with why you performed over here, but it becomes difficult to not say, oh, well, if they hadn't done this and they hadn't done this and they hadn't done this, then maybe this would be better. You understand what I'm saying?
And again, also too, like, again, he's giving some of those guys like things that some of them probably haven't seen. Like he's exposing them to certain stuff. And again, like, yeah, I get Sean, to your point. I think it's again it's prime time. It's all about being in front of a camera. But again, like, how many other coaches, particularly for HBCUs, they would. I think most HBCUs would kill to have a guy like a Deion Sanders, like, coaching for them. And I don't know. To me, I look at it. This is motivation for next year. But also too, I think some of it too, again, I think I don't know. We'll see.
We'll just have to see. Because what essentially wound up happening is all that hype, all that work they put in this year, all those teams they beat, and to get to the bowl game and lay a big fat egg.
Goose egg.
I mean, Shedeur Sanders threw 2 interceptions, and neither one of them really did anything. 166 yards on South Carolina State side pass and 175 on Jackson State side. Jackson State had 19 total yards rushing. South Carolina State had 102 yards rushing between 4 different guys. So nobody was out
Corey Fields Jr. only threw 12 passes. What does that say?
Yeah.
Right.
He did look good. You talked about coach's son, who's quarterback. I remember one play he drops back, and there's this guy coming, and I know he can sense him at the corner of his eye. And then he he's panicked, and he waits to the last minute, and then he tries to dip out. And I'm like, you're not Vic. You can't wait to the last second to just make this move on this guy. The guy caught him and sacked him. I'm like, there's, a lot was said for him coming into this season. I remember there was a picture on Instagram on Deion's page where it had him and the son and Tom Brady, and learning from the GOAT and all these things. And you see the 11-1 record. And look, I got to admit, I didn't watch them most of the year because even though Deion's there, they still didn't get as much of attention. A lot of attention was on Deion, unless like us, you follow HBCUs and all these schools and whatnot. You know what I mean? So to see this and see him on this grand stage, I just think it was just all this extra stuff.
Let's be real about.
And I thought about overtime before you get to that point. I'm sorry, but I thought about when they went to halftime. I thought Deion would have rallied those guys,
right?
And when they came back out, they looked more just like, that was awful.
I sincerely hope that Deion really gave them a hell of a tongue lashing in the locker room afterwards, because that's the kind of attitude. That's the kind of attitude. That's the kind of attitude that when you get in the pros, you can't have. You know what I mean? And we starting to see some of it already. Like, there's guys that if they know they're losing by 3-4 touchdowns, they don't even get hyped until like maybe 2 or 3 guys will take the team on their shoulders and start bringing the whole team back. Then they'll get hyped and get back in it. But they'll just, they will mentally check out.
Yeah, I mean, before I dropped off, sorry guys, Anthony, my phone actually died. You told me about that before I even got on.
Didn't I tell
sorry
you?
about that.
Yo,
I know, I didn't listen.
Time out for a second.
Listen.
Time out for a second. Yeah, y'all. Before the whole thing started, I talked to Colin. I said, "You good, man?" He said, "I don't know about the internet connection, whatever." I said, "Make sure you plug your phone in when you come on, so your phone don't die." He's like, "Oh, that's funny you said that. My phone just beeped. It's got 5% on it." And
well, I mean, I don't know if it's an excuse I don't know if it's an excuse or not. I had it plugged in, but I don't know if it wasn't plugged in the strip. So I was halfway right there. But anyway, what I was going to say before I dropped off was like, having Dion, having prime time as your coach, there's a fine line between being as flashy as what made him prime time, him being that coach. You know what I'm saying? There's a fine line. It can't be, you can't have your players. You can have them dressed nice. You can provide everything for them, like you were saying before. That they got money for this, that, and the other. And him trying to build up the program, but you got to make sure these kids make sure they see that him being prime time was, when he got further along in his career. These guys are still trying to make a name for themselves and still trying to you still had to play with heart and still need to play the game and and play the 4 quarters like you guys were just saying, like when the game seems to be out of hand, don't lay down. And I mean you got to play to the end. You got to play till 0-0. Easy for me to say, right? But I mean that's just that's what you're there for.
Yeah, man. I've seen games where teams are down by 2 or 3 touchdowns and the DBs are just still laying lumber. It's like, I'm still gonna let you know that I'm out here. You gonna get by. I'm tired. People, I'm tired. You are probably going to break one on me before the game is over again. But you come across this middle, I'm laying you slap out. You ain't catching nothing. Right. And then I've seen games where it's like,
calm down, Bill Belichick.
Oh, so that's what we doing now. That what we doing now. See, you was talking about taking people out, and I said Sean Payton. I'm just talking about this is any football player philosophy. I sincerely don't see Hoodie Man chasing nobody down, trying to lay nobody out. The only person he's trying to lay out is we ain't gonna get into
that.
But I do know that
John, we don't need another Haynesworth laying on his belly. You know what I'm saying?
Hashtag Urban Meyer. What?
That's not your wife. Oh, that is? No, it ain't. Oh, that ain't. No, I seen her picture. That ain't her.
He does have a good recruiting class coming in next year. So, I mean, I know there's some guys that are going to stay and they be ready to go. But again, like also too, you got to prepare. You got to prepare the guys. You got to motivate them. You got to. I don't know. Sometimes I've also learned this too. And it's not just with sports. Like where you can take final exams. You got to take your mind off things. Like, take them somewhere where they can not go focus on the game. I think if you go with an open mind and take that approach, I think that you might have seen a difference. But I think some guys, just.
And you know what I think makes, I mean, I don't know if you guys maybe touched on this before, but I mean, having Dion as your coach, that's going to bring a lot more attention to the program and attention to the players and that kind of stuff. So they got to be able to, if they weren't, accustomed to the attention before, they're going to have a lot on them now. So, I mean, they're going to have to, they're going to be scrutinized for whatever they do as well. So kind of going to take that into account.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So there you have it. The 2021 Celebration Bowl, South Carolina State Bulldogs 31, Jackson State Tigers 10. Jackson State finishes the season 11-2 with a SWAC championship. So this is Dion's second SWAC championship, I believe, since he took the team over. Fun fact, Sean, I shared this with you. This was a few coaches before, but former coach of the South Carolina State Bulldogs left South Carolina State, took a job a little further south to coach a school in coastal Georgia, and wound up producing a Hall of Fame tight end in Shannon Sharp. Coach Bill Davis Sr. left South Carolina State to take the job at Savannah State and wound up being the guy that molded Shannon Sharp and getting him ready for the league. So, yeah, just a little fun fact to throw out there. That pretty much does it for the bowl game wrap up for this weekend, guys. There's a whole lot more bowl games on deck. One in particular that's drawing a whole bunch of attention is the Pitt versus Michigan State, and I'm trying to pull it up to see what bowl game that is. Yeah, everybody's kind of
Peach Bowl.
This is the one that's got a lot of folks up in arms about.
It's the Peach Bowl.
It's the Peach Bowl.
Thank you, sir. That's got people all up in arms about the opt-outs because over the weekend it was announced that both Pickett and Kenneth Walker would be opting out of the bowl. And
did they get? Did they give a reason why they're opting out?
Pro. They're trying to.
Oh, that's right.
Ready for the draft.
Pro. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I'm pretty sure that the sponsors of the bowl game are pissed as hell because those two guys were pretty much the marquee reason. I mean, they probably had the ads made up already, the promo runs with two of them. You know how they do there's Pickett throwing the ball and fake sliding, and then there's Walker cutting and slashing. And now they have to rethink the whole way they're going to promote this game because they've opted out. So
they'll still go with the schools. I mean,
they'll still go with the schools, of course, absolutely. But I mean, you know, that's like having this big concert bill and headlining a concert of Billy Joel and Elton John, and they both go, nah, you know.
Yeah. But I don't know. Nowadays, it's almost ever since Christian McCaffrey did it for Stanford, it's almost become
it's become a trend.
Yeah, if they're not playing in the Final Four and they have draft, they're not trying to get injured, and it stinks. That's why I like the lower bowls because they're all playing. They're not concerned with that because they need to get that extra footage.
Because their agents. I'm sorry to cut you off, man. Because somebody's telling them, if you get hurt in one of those games, that's your value.
Draft stock's going down. Your money's going down. Yeah.
Here's where I call shenanigans when the guys that opt out of their team's bowl games go play in the East-West Shrine Bowl or the Senior Bowl or whatever it is. The one that's got all the scouts out there, and you still have the same opportunity to get hurt playing in that game.
Very true.
So
very true.
What's the diff? Why not ball out? Why not ball out one last time with your
because
brothers?
the East-West Shrine game, they are all trying to get to the same thing. You know, if I'm balling out with my brothers and my brothers then get into a fight, or something happens when my brothers get hit and I'm up, and then all of a sudden I get rolled up on because I'm defending my brothers, as opposed to the East-West Shrine game where it's like, hey, we're all technically free agents. We're all guys trying to get to the draft. Every one of us that got picked here we got picked here for a reason. They didn't pick no.
It's like the combine almost. It's
right,
basically
right.
Scouting to see what team can take me.
Right.
I'm trying to get an early first round pick.
I got to be completely honest. Never been a huge follower of the East-West Shrine Bowl. So is it one of those deals like with the NBA All-Star Game where it's like we're not playing no defense, we just gonna show off?
It's different.
No, they play. Yeah, they play because all the scouts are there.
Yeah, the scouts are wild.
Yeah, but then again,
All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, that no one plays defense.
but again, that's to my point. If the offensive guys are out there playing, trying to impress the scouts, the defensive guys are out there trying to impress the scouts too. What happens when the defensive guys goes up and challenges a catch and come down on somebody's leg and shred somebody's ACL? It's the same. That's my point is your potential for injury. I could see if it was just a gentleman's game where they go out there and they ball out and they're not really trying to hurt each other, but they're out there knocking heads. Then go knock heads with your brothers because you know what I'm saying? Either way,
to me though, it's like it lessens the I guess the importance of the bowl games. You know what I mean? If we gotta have the damn players not gonna play. I mean, and most of the time they're the star players of the teams. You know, I mean, I can understand the reasoning. I mean, I really do understand the reasoning. But I mean, how do you? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you would fix that. You know, I mean, I don't know how you would. If it needs to be repaired, because I mean, it goes back to your loyalty and that kind of stuff. I understand the injury portion of it, but I don't know. It just seems to be the marquee players and the stars that are opting out because of they're worried about getting injured and that kind of stuff. But
Right.
to Anthony's point, it's like, I mean, you can get injured anytime. Yeah, I mean, just because you don't play the bowl game, you can get injured somewhere else. I mean, you get injured. I mean,
you can mess around and tear a pec lifting weights in the weight room.
Anywhere.
You can fall down the
Right.
stairs. I mean, you whatever.
And
to that point, though, to get, you can get injured anywhere. And just like that with coaches, like you having this job here, you leave it, you could have done this stuff here. But at the end of the day, this is something Cat put on to me, and to play devil's advocate, it's kind of like you almost flip it around and like, it sucks. It really sucks. I wanted to see Kenneth Walker. I wanted to see Pickett. But then again, also, it's like, what about that backup that's never, ever going to get any playing time? And now this is his one shot.
There you go.
I'll go with Hakeem Nicks for West Virginia. Nobody had ever heard of the guy. He was great size, but nobody had ever heard of him. He gets out because somebody sits out, balls out, has 4 touchdowns against North Carolina, and gets drafted by the Giants in the first round. You know what I mean? There's a lot of these people's opportunities when somebody comes out and moves out. I don't agree with it doing, because I'm a football player. I want to play with my guys. So that me personally, no, but I understand it.
But if they wanted, they could do a minute restriction. Okay, we're not going to play you in the second half. We'll play you in the first half and the second half.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
You sit down for the game.
Well, one of the things that I've heard a lot of the talking heads talk about, both the folks that get paid to talk about it and the folks like us that don't get paid to talk about it, is oh my God, that if you opt out from your team's bowl game, then you don't play and you lose the opportunity. It's an either or. You know what I'm saying? If you play in your team's bowl game, you still want to go East-West Shrine Bowl, you can play in your team's bowl game. The other thing that I was looking at, the flip side of that coin, to your point, Sean, where you were talking about the guys that get the chance to ball out. I mean, how often does that happen, though? I mean, it's just like, it's kind of like Kurt. It's kind of like
frequent now.
Well, maybe more frequent now because more guys are opting out. But I mean, you only see a Kurt Warner type deal, and I know that's not what happened with him, but that's just the first thing that comes to mind. You only see a thing like Kurt Warner only happen like once in a generation, maybe every other generation, and that's kind of the thing that I'm looking at happen. Number 3, these folks put a lot of money into these bowl games now, and now we're at the point where we have the NIL deals. And what do you do when you got a kid that's got an NIL deal with Tostitos?
That's the money. And at the end of the day,
his team happens to wind up in a bowl game that's being sponsored by Tostitos. Does the NIL, do they structure the NIL so that do these sponsors start structuring the NIL so that, okay, DJ Unglele, you sign with Dr. Pepper. You have $1 million deal with Dr. Pepper. If your team winds up in the Dr. Pepper Bowl, then you have to play in the Dr. Pepper Bowl, and you can't opt out because we're paying you all this. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's something that they'll cross that bridge when it comes. I don't think that's ever happened, obviously, because it's so new and whatever. But yeah, to one of your points, I agree. There's a lot of time and effort put into this. To your point about the if they don't play in the bowl, they can't play in the East-West Shrine. Kenny Pickett and Kenneth Walker, I don't think they need any more tape on them. I mean, I think they were both high, at least in the top 10 in the Heisman. So we already know how great they are. So if that is so, I get that. And then on top of that, with the money that they're putting into the bowl games, and it's nationally televised, hell, the scouts can pick up the tape. Mm-hmm. You don't have to play in front of the scout. You could go play in the Bug Tussle Carplex Car Wash Bowl and down there in Mississippi. Most of those studs aren't playing in some of those bowls. Most of those studs, they already know. They're going to be. Yeah, they're going to be. Yeah. The next time they're doing anything is combine and all that stuff. Most of those.
I feel you. I feel you. The elite athletes, they're just gonna opt all the way out. But I'm saying,
just for the record, those guys will be early first round picks. Oh no, never mind.
Were you?
See that?
See, that's what you get. See, that's what you get for trying. That's what you get for trying to be slick. Why don't you just send me the clip, and then the next time I have you on, you just be like, Anthony, I'm about to hit it up, and I got you covered.
I got you.
Hey, not to get offside, but Anthony, you seen that Pickett's got a NIL deal with Tom Brady, right? You see that?
I did see that. I don't know how I feel about that because you know how I feel about Tom Brady and teams from Georgia. He might be setting our boy up. Anyway, we gonna keep this thing moving.
Hey, he's giving me money. It's all good, man.
Right. We gonna keep this thing moving. We gonna keep this thing moving. Those of you that just joined us. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Well, those of you just joining us, welcome to This Week in SEC Football. I am your moderator today, Mr. Fingers from Zagnif Central, right there. Ooh. That guy over there to my right on your screen, the shout-out king, Mr. Sean Spencer down there. That guy, Mr. Bama Does What Bama Do, the brother from another, Colin P. And the handsome gentleman down there below me who just informed us that Charles Barkley has come up with a very uncharacteristic case of laryngitis, Mr. Nathan Snell. Thank y'all for joining us so much. Nate be dying on the stuff I come up with him on. We got a couple more topics here, fellas, before we wrap it up for the evening. I think we're gonna jump into the next one. This one broke over the weekend. We were wondering, Sean, you and I talked about it. Nathan, I think you and I talked about it. I know Colin and I talked about it. Where is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde going to go if he hits the transfer portal? We knew he was going into the transfer portal. Well, now we know. Bo Nix is going west to play in the Pac-12 with the Oregon
Duckies.
To play with the Oregon uniform combination.
Ducks.
Yes, indeed.
The uniforms are hot.
Their uniforms so tight they be like, maybe they're born with it. Maybe it's Pac-12. I don't know. Anyway, that didn't make no sense. I just thought I'd throw that out there. You know what? He's going out there with Dan Lanning. Now, Dan Lanning is a defensive-minded guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know who he's got, or I don't know who he's keeping from the staff that was there.
He'll probably keep the offensive coordinator, maybe. Probably see what he looks like.
And the thing with Bo is, I don't know that there's any competition for the quarterback. I don't know if there's anybody in the wings.
The main guy, Anthony Brown, is a senior. He's leaving this year.
Right. He's leaving. He's leaving, but we don't know if there's anybody waiting in the wings that's got some skills. So what happens if Bo just jumped ship and ran because he wanted an opportunity to really shine?
Well, I think he would have gotten his shine at Auburn.
Yeah,
I get it, though.
Yeah, nobody's higher than a sophomore. So unless some phenom comes and beats him out, I think that's one of the reasons he went there.
Yeah, but how do you think? I mean, how do you think he'll fare out there? I know the question is being raised.
Look how Jake Fromm did when he went to the Pac-12.
Jake Eason.
Eason went to when Eason went to the Pac-12. He
didn't,
he didn't have as much talent, but.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The question is being raised like with Jacob Eason. It wasn't a matter of. With Jacob Eason, it was a matter of I'm not going to get any playing time because Fromm is going to be the starter. Nix would have been the guaranteed starter at Auburn, but the pundits are saying a lot of what they're saying about Lincoln Riley. He didn't want to stick around and compete with Alabama for another year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He didn't want to stick around and potentially play a Georgia team that's going to get back a goodly amount of their recruits this year and has a great recruiting class this year.
You're returning a lot of your guys?
I know there were 9 guys graduated in the ceremony this past weekend. Zeus being one of them.
You had 9. We had 25 here in Maryland.
Yeah, there were 9 guys. Well, there were 9 guys that dressed for graduation. I don't know if.
How high do you think Zeus is gonna go in the draft?
I think Zeus would be a mid-third rounder.
I say early. I say mid.
Maybe late third rounder.
I mean, he had coming out.
This was the season everybody was waiting for. I guess you could consider this his breakout season. He's shown himself to be very versatile. I mean, they didn't toss him a ton of passes, but he can catch passes out of the backfield. And when you need that guy to get you 4 or 5 yards, he can make that happen too. He's never been during his entire time at Georgia the dominant back like Chubb, Michelle, Gurley, Marshall, those guys before him, the Moreno.
Is that because of just how
isn't he a junior?
Junior?
Who?
White.
I
think Cook
Zeus?
is a senior. Yeah, Zeus is a junior, I think.
Cook is a senior. No, Zeus graduated.
Oh, wow. He graduated early. That's what's up. He's only a junior.
So is it because he didn't get the opportunities we thought he would get because of Kirby Smart's offense? More like I've noticed it's more of a passing.
Oh,
first.
for sure. Kirby Smart Kirby Smart will live. That is a hill that Kirby will live and die on. Now, one of the things that Kirby had that was in his favor when he came on board was Mark Richt left him a stable of running backs. I mean, Chubb, Michelle Swift, those guys were all Richt. Richt brought those guys in. He left them a stable. And then there was Elijah Holyfield, who I don't even know what he's doing these days. Guys built like a brick wall. But we know, he didn't do much. I think he was undrafted free agent. Was it last year he went in the draft?
Elijah Holyfield's with the Bengals.
Oh, he is with the Bengals? Okay.
Mm-hmm. He went undrafted. He was on the Panthers practice squad. He was with the Eagles for 2 seasons. And actually, he was just waived by the Eagles back in August. And then he signed to their Cincinnati's practice squad.
Yeah. So he hasn't made a splash in the league at all. I mean, he's making money. It's just not in a like NFL big money. And Zeus came in, and Zeus was supposed to be like the next coming of everybody talked like he was the next coming of Gurley, and we just haven't seen it. We just haven't seen it because Kirby loves to throw the ball down the field. So, watch this here. Hey, look here. You ain't gonna be running in and out of my house, leave my dog and let my air conditioning out.
Shut up, dog.
So I think that is the biggest thing is that he feels that the competition in the Pac-12 will not be quite what he is going to have to face. That's what the pundits are saying. It's not going to be what he'd have to face next year because you got Bryce Young coming back. I mean, Bryce is a freshman, so he's coming back. We got at Georgia, the debate is still running as to whether Stetson and JT come back, although I think neither of them come back.
I think they'll come back.
Beck, I don't see coming back at all because he's got Vandergrift behind him and you got Gunner behind him and you got Arch behind him.
They're freshmen.
What's that?
Okay. That's what
I thought. So, I mean, you're going to wind up – I mean, Kirby's quarterback room is going to be 5 or 6 deep once he gets all of his – assuming everything goes as we projected will go, his quarterback room is going to be 5 or 6 deep and somebody's going to wind up having to transfer.
I think JT's going to go to the league.
Do I think who?
You think JT's going to go to the league? Is that what you're saying? He's going to get drafted? He's a junior.
I don't know. I think he's going to transfer somewhere. Nate, what was your statement? I missed it.
I said it looks like a roster on the NCAA 14.
Yes.
Right. To be completely honest, I don't know what JT Daniels is going to do because JT was at USC and then he got hurt. And then JT is here and then he got hurt. And I want to believe that Kirby saw something that the rest of us.
You already know what it is, Nate.
Like, I want to believe that Kirby sees something that the rest of that all of the armchair coaches have not seen, and that's the reason why he's not playing, and not that he's just being like the fans are saying he's just being stubborn on Kirby, and I'm going with my guy.
Yeah.
But JT's fragile, and we see what happens when you get a quarterback. Like we didn't know Tua was fragile until he got hurt the first time. But all it takes is for a fragile quarterback to get hurt one time, and their career is never the same, whether it's a major injury or a minor injury. So
that is true.
I don't know as far as JT is concerned. I really don't know.
He's got one more year though, right? Doesn't he? He's got one more year eligibility.
Yeah, I don't know.
So he got the extra year because of COVID.
I think everyone should have at least an extra year. He should.
Yeah, everybody.
Stetson.
Yeah, everybody got that. Now, of course, the one thing nobody can agree on is how the hell old is Stetson Bennett, and is he coming back? Now, Stetson's definitely a senior.
Yeah, I know.
I think JT's a junior. Yeah,
yeah.
So he's still got one more year eligibility. The question is, does he come back? Like I said, you got Carson Beck, who probably won't come back. You got Stetson, who he got that extra year. He's a senior, but he got the extra year eligibility because of last year with no penalty. If he decides to issue, to use a draw 4 card, then JT's stuck at Georgia. What's he going to do? That's another season loss.
Well, if we end up winning the Natty, I think he's going. I mean, Stetson's gone. I mean, like if we are lucky enough to win the national championship, I think he's gone. I don't think he'll come back from that.
Now, I will agree with you there. Stetson definitely is a Georgia boy through and through. And if they don't win, he will want to come back and make sure he rights that wrong. But we don't.
I think so. Yeah.
Speaking of, that's perfect segue in where I wanted to go with our next segment. And ladies and gentlemen, our next segment is brought to you courtesy of our 2 segment sponsors. If I can get the ads to pull up over here. Number 1 being Envision Social Media, your one-stop shop for getting your social media together. Empower, create, sustain. If you want to, you want that done for your social media page, reach over and hit them up on envisionsocialmedia.com. And also our other segment sponsor, that being the Crew at 1906 Tees. They can also hook you up with all of your custom favorite sports fan gear. They will do it for you. Hit them up at 1906tees.com. They also do specialize in Greek paraphernalia. Thank you to both of those for being our segment sponsors for this week in SEC football. This is going to be the last segment here, gentlemen, and then we're going to wrap everything up here in a bow, let everybody go enjoy their evening because the ball games are coming on. But this topic, once again, Kirby being very dodgy about his starting quarterback. They had the press conference. They were asking about the guys graduating and how you're going to replace them, and you did pretty good in the recruiting, with the early signing. And then the question was asked, who starts the game on New Year's Eve? Who starts in the Orange Bowl? And Kirby essentially said, and Colin, I know you saw this as well, so correct me if I'm making a misstep, but he basically said, I'm not talking about who's taking first team reps, who's taking second team reps, or any of that. It's not about that. I'm not going to put out who's going to start the game.
Why would you?
But obviously, I'm going to put who I think the best player on the field is out there. Now, of course, knowing this game has been played all year, we know what that means. But do we really know what that means? But I'm assuming that most of the fans are going to walk away from that with the assumption that the mailman will get the nod to start the game. Nate, I'm going to come to you first. Your thoughts on that?
Kirby Smart needs to figure it out. I think he's stalling. I think he knows. He's just not going to say who it is. Me personally, I think it's the mailman. He starts. I think the mailman has had a good season. He should have been up front, honestly, but I think Kirby's just trying to play mind games.
But does he really owe that to the fans? I mean, he's a coach; he can do whatever he wants to the team.
Yeah,
no, he doesn't owe anything to the fans. I mean, you can say that with NFL basketball. You can say that with any sport. Mm-hmm. It's just a coach knows who he's riding with, particularly coming playoffs. He knows. So I think it to me was more suspense. I should say. Let me say it like that. It was more suspense. He's basically like, you're just gonna have to wait and see New Year's Eve. If you don't like it, excuse my language, but you can kiss my ass. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I got you on that. I don't know. I mean, we've talked for a long time about fan entitlement. We talked about that for several weeks now, and that's been the buzz phrase, the catchphrase in all the groups. Well, Kirby owes it to the fans. No, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
He doesn't owe you anything. He's a coach. The only people he owes anything to is the folks that sign his check, and that's the athletic department of the University of Georgia. Now, granted, some of that money does come from the boosters, but even then, he doesn't owe you either. The school hired him to coach the team, and I think the reason that he's just kind of hanging on to it is because the fan base has been so doggone divided. If he comes out now and says, "Well, mailman starting," you know what I mean? That's just going to start a whole bunch of mess.
But you don't show your hand anyway. That's every coach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if there's a question, who's starting, you don't lay it out there, until he walks on the field. I mean, you don't show that hand until that player steps on the field. and takes first snap.
I agree.
I got you. So Sean, what are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. Whenever you go to the dance, you dance with the one who brought you. I mean, I don't care what I don't care what we talked about from before. I don't care what I mean, this guy's been in there. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like with a quarterback, and when he throws it to a receiver, and the receiver drops it, and the receiver knows he drops it, and the quarterback knows how bad he feels, and the quarterback is like, good quarterbacks are like, I'm coming right back to you. I'm coming right back to you.
Absolutely.
Stetson has been there all year long. Yes, he ran into a Mack truck. Okay, now I know how it feels. Let's go. I know what I need to do. There you go.
Yep.
And it's good that he's not playing him right away. He's playing another team, hard team. Let's get over this hump. You got 2 games left, but I think if you take out, I take him out, and I think if you put JT in there, the chemistry, the whole thing, the leadership, who are we following? It's
Right.
me personally. I say no. Yeah, I say leave Stetson in. He's done it for you all year.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I got you, Nate. I laughed, Sean, when you said that. Dance with the one that brought you, because it's funny you said that because Animal House was on TV last night.
Yep.
You guys mind if we dance with your dates?
And I was just going to tell you, I just ended, but I was watching my cousin Vinny just a minute ago. I was going to put a screen grab of.
Bro, I threw it out there. You missed it before you came on. I threw it out there when we talked about Utah State.
Yeah.
It's good. I think I get the point. No, I don't think you do, Mr. Gambini.
Yep.
Hey, I tell you what. I kick your ass, I'll take the money. You got the money? I can get it. Okay. Get it. Then we'll fight.
Love that movie.
I'll be honest with you, I could use a good ass kicking.
Oh man, before we get too far off the beaten path, yeah, I think that it's a little, he's a little crazy like a fox, to be completely honest. Let's there we go. We'll just hide him there because he'll be back in a minute. I think he's a little crazy like a fox. I think every year is a new learning experience for Kirby. Like I said, he's only been the head coach for 6 years. It's not like he's been there, not like he was there for 20 something like Vince.
Right.
And before everybody and every media outlet and all the fan base felt like they had the right to know all the decisions that were being made in the coaching room.
And it's increasingly getting better. I mean, like, honestly, you can see the betterment of the team each year. I mean, it's increasingly getting a little bit better here, better there. But yeah.
So yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, I think that Georgia will do very well against Michigan. We'll talk more keys to the game as it gets closer to the game, and I say as it gets closer, like it's months away. It's only like what, in 9 days. 8-9 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, do I get my input on that?
Come on with it.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement with everybody. I mean, just like, and to be honest with you, I'm so tired of hearing, put JT in, and I mean, and probably like a lot of other fans, quote unquote fans. I mean, the fans are fans of the team, of the players on the field. I mean, you're not rooting for somebody for their downfall. You're not, so you can have your guy put in. It bothers the crap out of me when I read that on. I mean, it is Facebook. People, a lot of keyboard gangsters out there just talk to stuff and they won't talk to your face, and they won't a lot of trolls out there, a lot of fake accounts. I mean, to boot. But I mean, yeah, I mean, why would you want to take him out when he's the one that got you there? I mean, of course he had that bad game against Alabama. He was due. I mean, like he was playing. Yeah. I mean, he was playing really well football. I mean, of course he's got a problem with underthrowing receivers, but I mean, he's got the wheels. He's actually got. He's got.
You say that like, all right. Well, I mean, he underthrows a receiver.
He does. I mean, really, but that's one of his shortcomings. But I mean, he makes up for it with his wheels, with his feet.
Yes.
Like he gets, he's not he's not an all around great quarterback. I mean, it'd be crazy to say that, but I mean, he uses his attributes really well. But I mean, and the only thing that I can say he can need to improve on is his passing. I mean, like he has accuracy, but he's a little bit underthrowing these receivers, and they've been bailing him out. Brock, Bowers has actually been bailing him out a lot. I mean, you can throw a ball up there, and if he can touch it, he's going to bring it down. It's kind of like Megatron.
Yeah,
but,
baby Gronk.
For those of you any of you that are watching the replay right now, I think we got a couple people actually watching the live stream. But if any of you are watching this right now and you're watching the replay, to those of you that are saying, "Oh, he sucks, he stinks, take him out. He had a bad game against Alabama." How many of you watched the game last night between the Buccaneers and the Saints?
Oh yeah.
There's a guy that plays for Tampa Bay. He's been playing football for a little bit, and a lot of people regard him as one of the greatest to ever lace him up and set foot on the gridiron. He had a bad game last night. I mean, a bad game. Not a game where they were just losing and he still had a minute and had a chance to win it. He had a bad game last night. He had such a bad game last night that I looked at the clock and saw that there was 2 minutes and some change left in the game, and I said, I don't think that Superman is going to save Lois Lane this time.
Yeah.
If he can have a bad game, if as Nathan likes to call him Mr. Dimple Chin, or Sean likes to call him Mr. Trophy Thrower, can come in and have a bad game, so can Stetson. Does it suck that it happened in the SEC championship? Absolutely. Does it suck that it happened last year against Alabama? Absolutely. Does it make him a horrible quarterback?
Absolutely not.
It makes him human.
Let me ask you guys this. Maybe I'm asking Colin.
Hey,
I think I know the answer you're getting from. I'm gonna get from you, Anthony.
Wait a minute. Before you ask your question, did you bring enough of whatever you eating for the
rest of the class? What you chewing on, boy?
Huh?
Did you bring enough of whatever?
I worked 72 hours straight at a home living situation over this weekend. It's the first meal I've had since getting off.
Do you, bro?
You are not going to eat me and my sandwich.
My sandwich.
I might eat the sandwich, but I definitely ain't eating you. That's not first date material, sir. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yo, see, lay
on it. Lay it on the Wonder Bread.
All right, I agree. I completely agree about that. Last night was prime example of that. My question is this: so last night, like I talked to you about before, Anthony, Tom Brady lost for the 4th straight time in the regular season to the Saints. Swept last year. Swept both times this year.
That's 4 in a row? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was the first time he's ever lost to one team 4 times in a row.
That's why he broke that iPad.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder, in the regular season, maybe do they have their number? So then it brings it to college. You guys all know what you always put an asterisk next to everything you've done all year because you said, oh, yeah, we're great. Oh, we won this game. Oh, we did that. But we still got to beat Alabama before we get that recognition. We still got to beat Alabama. You get to the game. Finally, you're ready. That happens.
Oh, yeah.
You've done it before. But is there anything in the back of your mind like, certain teams have other teams' number. Doesn't even matter who's on the team. It's just they have the number. So I don't even want to ask that, but in that comparison with the GOAT in that particular game, it was that. Because how else could we judge that? Yes, they have a good defense, but Taysom Hill is no world beater. You know what I mean?
Nah.
Yeah.
And it's like, didn't score.
Taysom Hill and the Saints beat the Buccaneers last night and did not get in the end zone not once.
Right.
Tampa Bay came into that game going, they got no weapons and they got no weapons at receiver. They got no weapons. They got no weapons in the backfield. Taysom Hill is going to run the ball often and early, and they still couldn't stop him from scoring 9 points. Nor could their offense, even with their weapons hurt, they still had Gronk on the field. Good old Gronk gut bowl. That was not good.
2 teddies.
Yeah, right.
So, Sean, to answer your question, yeah. I mean, I obviously think that plays a part of it. I mean, maybe it's twofold. I mean, maybe it's like we had such a good we kind of maybe relied a little bit on our defense too much. Like we thought, I mean, they've had such a huge showing and they've been so great. Offense has not really had to be used. To your point, you mentioned that the offense hadn't really had to struggle, playing other teams' defenses because our defense was so good. I mean, that all came into play, and absolutely there's an asterisk by Alabama because, I mean, they're our juggernaut. I mean, at least the past how many years, Anthony? I mean, was it going to be 5 years?
We have not beaten Alabama since 2000.
And a one and done, right?
Stafford was the last quarterback.
Yeah, it was a one and done. We beat them the last time we beat them, and then we tried to do the old black jersey thing, and that really worked out well. They beat the snot out of us. But
well, see, we had to. It's something that needs to be borne in mind, not to jump off the beaten path. Something that needs to be borne in mind. Just because we did it and they beat Florida, don't mean it's going to beat Alabama. Because Alabama them guys don't get scared. Wearing black jerseys. That's cute.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
it worked out well one time we wore them, and then I forget who we played.
Florida.
But yeah.
Because remember,
Florida. You're right. Absolutely, Florida. Yeah.
Mark Rick made him go out and said, "I want everybody to celebrate after that first touchdown," and they drew all those flags.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, truth be told, I have one, but I need to burn that thing. I hope they never wear them again. To be honest with you, they look pretty good, but I mean,
I'm going to be.
I'm ready with a red jersey and the silver breeches is my favorite uniform of all time.
The 1980 championship uniform. That's just look to do the same thing Bama does. Wear the same thing. Look, have a white jersey and a red jersey. That's it. Silver breeches.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yep.
To answer your question, though, Sean, do I personally think so? No. Do I think it is something that fans and players are all very superstitious. It doesn't matter. There's a kid right now that won't be setting foot on campus in Athens for another 4 or 5 years, but he's probably been a fan his entire life, and he's probably watched Georgia play Alabama several times. And by the time he gets to campus and gets on the squad and let it be his freshman year, and he's a starter, and we're playing Bama, the pregame butterflies. Colin, you said you played too, right?
For what? What do you mean?
Football.
Play what? Oh, well, no. Well, remember I told you about I played midget, Pee Wee League.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just before the football
I was too nice, I couldn't play because
yeah. Well, the right before the game, you get that little knot in your stomach, like the adrenaline is wearing up, and you get that little knot in your stomach that doesn't go away till you smack pads the first time.
Yeah.
As imagine that freshman on campus watching the school whose team has beaten his team every time they played for the last, at this point, would be 20 years. God, I hope it's not that long before we beat them. But
yeah.
So for 20 solid years, your team has not beaten this team.
Mm-hmm.
And you set foot on that field and you're standing out there and the crowd's chanting, "Go!" And you like to not, I think it does play with players' minds to some extent. I mean, you see Aiden Hutchinson was on the sideline crying like somebody told him his dog was on its deathbed and they brought it back to life when they beat Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
But personally though, you don't think they have their number. You think it's just they just got this right now. And
from a personal standpoint of view, no. I think that it's like I said, Mark Rick brought the program back to a level of respectability. Now Kirby's building on that and trying to make it truly an elite program right alongside Alabama. He just ain't figured out how to beat his mentor.
Well, I mean, part of me thinks that all these coaches that came from under Nick Saban, they did go to other programs like A&M, what have you. Nick gave him bits and pieces of the playbook, but I think he's got a lot of it that he kept for himself. I think he got a lot in his back pocket that he didn't get.
You think he got a secret vault like Prince did, huh?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I think he's got some stuff in there. He has to keep some stuff, close to the vest, and that he can't give away all his, secret play. Not, I won't say secret plays, but I mean all his, game winning. Yeah,
all day long.
And I think it's just taking Kirby a little bit longer than we would like for him to kind of catch on. You know what I mean?
Well, and see, let's be real about something though. How long's Harbaugh been at Michigan State?
Oh my God,
5, 6 years?
About 5 years.
Michigan, I'm sorry. Yeah. He's been at Michigan. You said 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
He's been there 5 years. He just now beat Ohio State.
mm-hmm.
Kirby's been at Georgia 6 seasons, 1 season more.
Mm.
See, the thing with the fans is, you got to beat everybody. You got to beat them right now. And if you don't do it in 2 or 3 years, we're going to run you out of town.
Yeah.
But how long? But you said 6 years. How long do we give him though?
I don't know.
I mean, for what? I mean, how long? How long do we give him what?
I mean, to beat them, because 5 years. Everybody. Even if we go back to the first episodes in this show, Anthony, they were an afterthought. I said, hey, maybe we need to look at Michigan. You're like, no. Every year they lose to Ohio State. They're jokes. Boom, boom. And then this year they do it with the same. They got a new defensive coordinator. They got a couple new coaches. They do the thing. They win it. And it's like, okay, now everybody's like, he keeps his job. Your job, I don't think your coach's job is in jeopardy. You still went undefeated outside of Alabama.
No. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
But how long do you give those?
It's not contingent.
Listen,
if
you win a national championship and you don't beat Alabama, obviously to some people there's going to be an asterisk. But if you win a national championship, I think you're on that elite level. You know what I mean?
Let me lay it out for you like this. Like I said, it took Vince Dooley 18 years to win, 16 to 18 years to win a national championship.
Different era.
Hold on.
You got to put in the eras because
don't last
that long.
I'm going somewhere with this, man. I wasn't finished, man.
You go all the way over
Let
here.
Him ride the bike. Let him ride the bike.
Let me get my ticket to where you're going, and then I'll get there. Tell me, and then I'll come back.
I was getting ready to make the point when you cut me off, man. Damn. I'm 52 years old. I'm 52 years old. You know, I walked my black ass out.
Let me paint the picture for you.
I walked out of picture it, Sicily, 1922. I walked out in the garage to take the trash out yesterday. I took my glasses off. I sat them on the back of the car. Do you know I spent 2 hours looking for my glasses because I couldn't remember that I had put them out there. I forget stuff. Let me make my point. I'm damn near about to forget what I was saying now.
I gotta write it down.
Anyway, I ain't got no paper. Ain't got no pen and paper. Anyway, Vince was at Georgia for a long while before he won a national championship. Once he won that one national championship, he could have coached there for life. Mm-hmm. If Kirby wins that one national championship, it doesn't matter whether or not he beat Alabama. His job will be all right. But if he never beats Alabama, they'll still say, but he never beat Alabama. The fans.
Now, is that just with Georgia? Because Ed Odron won a national title a couple years ago, and they kicked his butt out.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Ed also had other stuff going on.
Yeah, he did have other stuff on the side.
It's not like Ed was 100% doing his job, had nothing going on the side, and they just went in a crap.
Very true.
It was doing
a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Now, here's the kicker. We better hope that Kirby don't have no skeletons in the closet, because winning in that ain't nothing like winning a national championship for people to go like he's got
shining light on everything.
He's got one light. He's got one light right now that just kind of hovers around him. You win that national championship, they putting all 3 spotlights on you.
Yeah,
I'm talking.
I don't think there's gonna be any bones in that closet.
You were here. This is where you're at. Oh,
I would be surprised.
That's where you at. It's all close to you.
I got to get me some of them halo lights, man. I still got the old school joints with the umbrellas. I got one over here and one over here.
Hey, but this is my dad. Bless his heart. 82 years old, still grinding. Retired twice and still working, dominating. Finally decided to retire and go back to North Carolina. You know, where he went to the esteemed Chapel Hill, North Carolina. But he got me this ever since I've gotten into doing all this stuff. He got me this mic that I got. I don't use it as much as I would like to. Got me headphones. Got me the whole nine. Just, you know, this is what he used to do. He was like, I've told you this. He was the Venus flytrap in the late 80s. You know, the late night DJ on the station doing this thing. You know,
this is your senior love daddy.
He was in editing. He was in everything, man. He did so many things. It's not even crazy. But he gave me that because he was like, your lighting, you got to fix your lighting. I was like, Dad, I don't care. He's like, no, your lighting, get your lighting. So he gave me that. And I was like, all right, bet. But that symbolizes the lights that he's going to have. You're absolutely right. Right now, it's like this. When it comes to, if you win that national championship, everything gets that migrant light.
You better make sure everything is jam up, jelly time. Look, it's like when your mama say company is coming and my house better be clean. Everything better be clean.
Everything.
So yeah, I do think if he wins the national championship, his job is secure. He will go into Georgia coach legend status, just like Dooley. But it won't just be the fans saying it. It'll be all the Georgia detractors, like them folks that try and sneak and throw shade, like Curve Herbstreit and what's your other guy named Todd McShay and Finbaum and Skip Bayless. Yeah, I called you out, Skip. You saw the cross table from me. You know I come from that state. You know I represent them, even though I didn't play for them. You gonna sit there and try and act like, don't you sit there and tell me Kirby Smart is not a good coach.
Well,
over there on the sideline doing cartwheels. Over there on the sideline doing so many cartwheels, his strength and conditioning coach. You know his strength and conditioning coach lost 15 pounds of fat and gained 2 pounds of muscle over the whole season, trying to hold him back. He doing a community service project for that man, Skip. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say like even beating Alabama is a big thing. I don't think Kirby's job will ever be in. I mean, I don't think. I hate this. I won't think it'll be in that big a jeopardy. And, I mean, as long as he beats Florida, I mean, that's our biggest rivalry. As long as he continues to beat Florida, I mean, kind of put him on like I hate to put him next to Rick, but I mean, we're going to win 10 wins a season, but sometimes, I mean, like, it's getting to the premier program we have. 10 wins a season is not enough. I mean, it's we got to use that.
That's why they got rid of Mark Rick. I think Kirby has actually managed to surpass Rick in the time that he's been coach.
I have my own opinion. I have my own opinion about Rick. I mean, like Rick was a God-fearing man, which absolutely, you know, that's awesome. But I mean, I think he was getting too much heat from the front office. I think that his hands were tied on a lot of issues, the play calling. Like, I mean, you could kind of agree with me, Anthony. I mean, you see the play calling, it was not really. I mean, we didn't take chances. You know what I mean? I mean, no. Very seldom did we go down the field, try for a home run ball, or ever. You know, we were definitely smash mouth, obviously, but you know, we never played aggressively. It didn't seem like, you know, and I think that they had him handcuffed. I think that the play calling was, you know, the front office.
The strength, the difference between Rick and Kirby is the strength of Mark Rick's offense was his running game. The strength of Kirby's offense is more so the pass game. It's like use the run to set up the pass, but they weren't using they weren't just grinding it out. Like it was not the 3 yards and cloud of dust that went out the window. And the thing, so my thought process is, hands tied or not, just by virtue of the fact that Kirby has taken the team to 4 SEC championships and a national championship game, that puts him in the tier above Kirby. Now and nobody now getting with Vince is nobody's but Kirby's to lose.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it just and you didn't see you rarely, like I think probably maybe twice I saw Rick get fired up on the sideline. I mean, oh my God, how many times have you seen Kirby jumping up and down? You have the belt guy, you know, constantly pulling him back. So the fire is totally different between the two coaches. Not to say that the coaching, their coaching is vastly different. I mean, they have a good relationship with the players and that kind of stuff. But it just seems like Kirby has a lot more fire than Rick had. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's Nate. He made it back just in time. Welcome back, Nate. Did I get him? Wait a minute. I thought I got him.
You got to talk about Bo Nix going to Oregon?
Yeah, we talked about that already.
Okay.
What you think? How you think he'll do good?
I think so. It's funny. The only reason I brought that up is like the Georgia Bulldog group that me and Anthony are part of. Somebody said that they worked with a guy that said he was a Georgia fan but had on an Auburn shirt. And I said, do you think he's the guy said, do you think he's a poser, or do you think he's really a Bulldog fan? And I responded, I said, maybe he's one of the guys in this group that hates the current quarterback for Georgia and is pissed that the 5-star's not playing and that Kirby didn't pick up Bo Nix.
Yeah,
So he was
you want to?
confused.
Hey, listen, you want to know something stupid? There are several groups now. Just to go back to a couple of seasons ago, that it got so heated that they had to make the names of the quarterbacks. They had to make Fields and Fromm's
No,
name
are you
and
telling me?
Eason. They had to make their names. This is for everybody. They had to make their names flaggable. So as soon as the name popped up, the admins it had to be held for review by admin before it got posted.
Dude, Anthony, they're doing it now. That guy Greg, they admitted they're doing it now. They're doing it for for Stetson and JT. They're doing it for now. They're leading posts now.
It's getting that bad because folks are getting heated about it again. It's that time of year, and it's like
then again, you got people putting it out there just to get likes. They're just getting reactions. You know what I'm saying? Like people just ruffle feathers. Now it's becoming one of the things that just post it.
That's been a thing though. That's been a thing though, man. But like the rest of us that just like to come on and make our little jokey jokes and post our memes and have our fun having our little rivalries and calling the Bama fans gumps and calling the LSU fans corn dogs and
it's becoming a tired conversation. I mean, that's post at the post. Oh, JT's better than Stetson. I mean, it's just tired.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, post something else.
Right.
Right. You got to opinion on something else, which post that. I'm tired of hearing about JT over Stetson.
Right.
Yeah. It's like the Four Top says, the same old song. Well, Nate, you made it back just in time. I don't have a final segment like you guys do, like you do, Nate, like you do, Sean. My final thoughts this week. This will more than likely be our last show before Christmas. So, to those of you that are traveling to your loved ones, just a lot of it is for folks. It's about I got to get the perfect gift and I got to make the perfect dish and just go and enjoy spending time with your family. I had a talk with my daughter last night, and I told her that Christmas to me is becoming harder to get into, especially the last couple of years, because for me as a kid, it was get up in the morning, open the presents, play with the toys. Then you went outside and you played with your friends. And then we had to go back in the house to get dressed because we were going over to Auntie's house and we going over to such and such a house and we going over here. And that was Christmas night. And then the next day, then we kind of got to hang out with the friends. And then like on the 27th, we get in the car and go see my grandparents who live up near my grandmother who lived up near Atlanta. And that was where all the cousins and all my mom's brothers and sisters congregated. And we got to see them and just being out of school and being able to sit and sit in the house and do nothing or go hang out with your friends or whatever just during the holidays and just have that break from school and just enjoy the being around the people that you care about without having to do it at school, at your part-time job, stuff like that. And, now here I am as a middle-aged man who has now 3 sons that are adults that no longer live in the house, two of which live on the East Coast that I don't get to see or talk to on a regular basis because they don't live here. I mean, I talk to them, but, I don't see them on a regular basis. So matter of fact, I haven't seen the boys on Christmas. It's been a long time since I've seen the 2 older boys at Christmas. So just take the time while you're with your family. Stop worrying about I didn't get you your gift and it's going to be later. Stop worrying about who made the tater salad or why so-and-so brought that person and we know they dating and just stop calling them your roommate. Don't worry about none of that stuff. Just take the time and appreciate your folks while you got them because they could go to sleep that night and not wake up tomorrow. So just take this holiday season, hug the people you love, pick up the phone if they're not in the proximity where you can see them or you're not in the mood, not of a ability to go see them because of COVID. Pick up the phone and call them, say, hey, I love you. I'm thinking about you. And, you never can tell. You might wind up having 30, 40-minute conversation, but just take that time this holiday season and let folks know that you think about them. And that's what I got. Colin, I'm just gonna come to you. We just go.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually having a whole lot of fun with. I have an 11-year-old son, and you guys all. I mean, those Anthony, those that have kids, and appreciate that. I'm having fun getting up in the morning and watching him open the presents, that kind of stuff, kind of living through him. What we used to do, and then going along what you were saying, Anthony. It kind of brings me back. I'm an older, middle-aged man myself, but it just really brings me back to the simpler times. And this COVID stuff is really, really just kind of threw a wrench in everything. But like you said, you enjoy the time with people you love, and throw all that unnecessary stuff to the side. Just enjoy the people that you see, and that and basically, yeah, like you said, you never know how long it's going to be, so you may be the last time you see them. But yeah, and be safe as well. So,
on you, Nate.
Well, two things. I said it on my podcast that I will be debuting here on Melon next episode. So I just want to put that out there. But no, I'm on the same boat as you guys. For me, last 2 years, honestly, like I really haven't been in the holiday festive mood. I've, with the pandemic and going through things personally outside of YouTube and different things like that. It's I think as you get older, there's something called life, and the holidays for me is a good way to kind of sit back and reflect on the things that God has given us as individuals, particularly in the midst of this pandemic. I haven't lost anyone in my family to COVID, thank God. But it's just crazy to see how some people, like for example, like Karl Anthony Towns, he lost his mom, and like he in the interview, I could tell still he was depressed, but he still has to, go on. He has to, understand that she's gone, and it's gonna hurt him, but I think it is, you just gotta just appreciate life. Life is very precious. Tomorrow's never promised. That's why I thank the Lord every day for allowing me to wake up and for waking me up and allowing me to see another day, and just the blessings that He's given me. And I hope that with this in the midst of this season that we're in, that we just continue to just reflect, and just the good things are coming. That's
right. And Nate, not to interrupt you, but I mean, I always say, as long as I wake up and I'm vertical and I'm breathing, I don't really have too much to complain about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's somebody somewhere else hoping for something that you got, because you live and they ain't. So
yeah.
And Sean, as a man that inspired yours truly to take this journey in the sports podcast, and I give you the distinct honor of giving the last word for this episode, sir.
Yeah, no, this is honestly, for me, this is the best time of the year. I mean, I piggyback on everything you guys said, but this is my favorite time of the year. I mean, you have football on every single day from today until New Year's Day. Some sort of college game is on. NFL games are playing. I mean, unfortunately, with COVID and everything, they're playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, and some Saturday games and this and that. But there's so much football on right now. I absolutely love it. Can't wait to watch it. Especially you talk about being depressed and down. If you're with family, I mean that's obviously one of the biggest things that my granddaddy we used to always do. Mom, grandma, and all them cook. We'd be sitting there and watching every college football game, getting into every program.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is. And we can actually talk about it and work through the games and actually, you know what I mean? That's why I take this a little bit more seriously, because it's just, every one of these guys, all these different players, this is their shot. This is their one moment, that the one time a year they might get seen. They have one shot. I'm not getting into Eminem or anything, but I mean, sometimes they got that one.
I was just getting ready to say that.
I know it. I knew where it came in my head. I said, nope. That's it. But that's why
spaghetti. Okay.
That's why I love this. That's why I don't want it to. That's why I think we need. I'm all about the 12 bowl system, but I gotta have the bowls because some of these kids and their families that come out to one game, they come out to one situation, and this is it. This is their opportunity to see Wyoming and UTSA or Georgia State, Memphis, all these random teams that no other time we would watch. I love it, but obviously it's very, very bittersweet because this also signifies the last 2 months of football. February will be the end. January is the end of college. So, and that's when it's not,
So Sean, would you say you're a more college football fan than an NFL fan?
Yeah, yes, because there's more and it's more open.
I was going to say that the reason I am too, because there's a lot more that they play for. I feel like the kids play because they're trying to get to that next level, and there's more. They play with more heart, and not to say the NFL players. I mean, they get paid and that kind of stuff. I don't want to say they don't play as hard, but these kids are. That's why I like college football because these kids are trying to make a name for themselves. I mean, I agree.
One of my favorite things is rushing the field. You see a team upset somebody. You see a team that's got their first bowl victory. You see a team and the kids rush the field. That moment for those guys might be the best thing that they've ever experienced. That one shining moment, like
very well could be.
So these things, this time of the year is absolutely amazing. I love it, and you also get to see a lot of different kinds of football. That's why I like college because the NFL, you got the shotgun, you got some spread, you got some I-form running teams, you got some. Yeah, it's more predictable. We can really spot it in the NFL. College, man, you got some of these teams doing all this other funky stuff, and it's like, wow, man, I love this, man. I remember talking to my granddaddy, you'd be like, yo, they have 6 wide receivers on the daggone field. Like, how does that work? And how, and then that's when I inadvertently got the Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier does that. But he doesn't like to start black quarterbacks. That's when your granddaddy's from the South. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah, I got you.
Them old black Southerners. So, but I hear you. But he taught me up on it's so wide open. And like you said, all these kids, they're all trying to get to a next level, be it a starter, be it a top tier pick. Be it just somebody that gets playing time, they just want that one opportunity to do it. It's the ultimate opportunity time. Like I love it.
Well, their time to shine, yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godale, for letting me come up here and shake your hand. I just happy to be here. I will be more than happy to be the water boy. I will carry the clipboard. I'm gonna wind up being the third string quarterback. I will gladly sit on that bench for $1 million a year. Yes, I will. Thank you, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't bet now, dude. They pay me to sit on the bench. I'd ride that thing all day. Give me me.
I was sitting at home 2 days ago, wondering whether or not to declare for the draft, and then something spoke to me and said, you need to do something about your situation. And I said, I didn't even know what the situation was. And then I decided to go down the street to the store and get me a pop at the 7-Eleven. Mm-hmm. And I realized when I put the key in my ignition and turned the ignition, there was no gasoline in my car. And that said, thank you, Holy Spirit. And I immediately called my agent and told him to put my name in and now I'm going to be sitting on the sideline wearing that little visor with that headphone, walking around doing this behind the coach, holding the clipboard, and with $1 million in my pocket. Hallelujah! Won't he do it?
I almost changed positions in college once I realized I wasn't going to be able to play running back and I wasn't fast enough to play corner. A coach actually said, "Well, you could try out for special teams. You know how to kick." And I actually sat there and thought of that, like, man, if I could just make the team kick and I could get on somewhere. Team kick it or something. You saw the Panthers yesterday. They didn't have a kicker. If I could get it there, if I can kick a field goal.
Look at Goggles, man. Look at old Blankenship. Rodrigo. That boy's making a lot of money.
I'm telling you, man.
Rodrigo making plenty of money.
He's making some serious cash.
Look. I know what your favorite scripture is, but I'm gonna switch it up, Sean. Say, I don't have to be able to see Jesus if I could just reach out and touch the hem of his garments.
We gotta tell him no weapon.
He said, if I could touch the hem of his garments.
Yeah, let him know, man. Ain't no weapon formed against thee shall prosper.
And then Jesus knew that he had been touched, and he got a little P Diddy on him. He turned around and said, "Wait, hold on. Who that? Don't be getting no fingerprints on my Yeezys, dog."
Oh.
Anyway,
in the ghetto scriptures.
yes, bro, we could write a whole bunch of them. I think we need to do a compilation to pass it. No, we ain't gonna do all that. That's a lot of researching. But knowing you, Sean, to have one tomorrow, and be like, "Yo, bro, I've got all your pass and handy stuff. Send me the stuff from the show today." What? I didn't sleep. I worked 72 hours. I got food. I drank a cup of coffee. I'm wired.
Don't touch my sandwich.
My sandwich.
Don't pull back. Don't pull back another.
Killed it on the show.
That ain't what he said. He said, "You're not eating my sandwich or me." And I was like, "Wait a minute.
Wait a minute."
No, I said it's
Kevin Hart. Wait a minute.
I didn't say or me. I said it's for me.
That wasn't what I heard. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know where your head is at, bro.
You know where that head is.
That's funny.
I was wondering why you said that. I was like, okay, is that just another joke? But it makes sense.
It's Christmas. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's Christmas. It's the time of spreading cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
So I got a question. So is everybody like Sean? You're up here, right? You in Nova?
Mm-hmm.
You up here? You going down to North Carolina for Christmas, or you staying around here?
No, I'm going to West Virginia. I'm gonna potentially drive my fiance over, her and her sister, at West Virginia to see their parents. But then I'm going to be Northern Virginia. I'll be right here.
I got you. Hey, Nate, you sticking around? Where you around here too, right? Are you around Northern Virginia?
Who, me? No, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm on like upper Maryland.
Upper Maryland. Okay, I got you. You sticking around? Or you got family?
He live in Delaware.
No, all my family. Most of my family is all local.
Okay, I got you.
Local, so.
And Anthony, I know where you at.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I had to put this out just like I did on Roundtable. Nathan already heard this, but since HBCU has been the buzzword with college football this year, I want to try and plan a trip. COVID is the key. This is whether or not we can make this happen. I would like to try and plan a trip to Savannah State University for Savannah State 2022 homecoming.
When would that be?
It's normally in October, not like late October. I want to start with like this week in SEC. Let's talk football. Washington Football Weekly Roundtable. Nate,
did your face freeze?
No.
Okay.
I'm just listening.
And also let's talk fantasy football. Although Sean said I might have to put a leash on Bobby, but
you have to put a leash on a lot of them, man.
You
really want to bring it in, man. Know your crowd, man.
You know the way I talk. I don't have a lot of friends.
Listen, you know what though? I love Ab to death. I think Ab will be just fine. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody was saying Ab. Ab will be perfectly fine. There's a reason why I don't have everybody on every show. It's like that. Not everybody. Oil and water don't mix all the time.
Well, then why don't
some of them group chats?
Okay, well then why don't we just keep it right here? Okay, we go this week in SEC Roundtable. Let's talk football. Nate, that's like 9 of us.
How we getting there? We gonna drive? We gonna fly? What we doing?
Yeah,
man, I ain't saying not a damn thing about no road trip.
You laying out all the details. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. Man. What's up, man?
Y'all grown. Y'all all got jobs just like me. I'm just saying it's more of a.
They got nothing to do with us getting down there, dude. Got not a damn thing to do with it.
Before it started. Yeah, there we go.
Touche.
Get a rickshaw. We're gonna go down for 95.
Touche.
Be like, hey, I'm here. Are you here? Yeah, you're here. Well, where's everybody?
Y'all in for some fun. I'm telling you, y'all go. Yeah, trust me.
There we go.
Y'all gonna be waiting on the side of I-95, waiting on me, and I'm gonna come riding up like Vivica Fox driving that truck at Independence Day.
I'm definitely down. Hey, we can do it. We can make a surprise appearance at my parents. They're only 2 hours away from there. We keep on going down south.
But I mean, it would be nice. I mean, if we could do it long enough, I could show y'all where I went to school, not just Savannah State, but where I went to high school and stuff like that. And so, and downtown,
we could give them a good lesson on where we came up from, man.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah, bro. Look, hey, first place I'm gonna take them. Kerry Hilliards.
You think where?
Kerry Hilliards.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What is Kerry Hilliards?
Kerry Hilliards is a Savannah-owned chain of restaurants that specializes in Southern style cooking.
I don't say we got to find some buffet somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Ah man, if Paula Dean still had the family style dining downtown, we go down there. But she opened up Lady and Sons. That's a whole different animal. Plus that,
dude, I told you about the buffet in my hometown, right?
Yeah, some of us don't mess with it. Some of us don't mess with Paula Dean like that no more. Anyway, so but
right,
bro, $7.95, all you can eat buffet.
Nathan was looking at me when I said Paula Dean. I could see the kenta claw starting to grow out of his neck. My brother. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all tuning in to this week's edition of This Week in SEC Football. We could cut up and do this all night, but the football game's on. We missed the football game. Some of us got to eat dinner. Some of us got to go tend to our significant others. We appreciate you for tuning in or watching the replay. Thank you again to our sponsors, DJG Enterprises, GreekGans.com, 1906 Tees, and Envision Social Media. Thank you so much for doing what you do to help us continue doing this every week. We're going to get out of here. You all take care. We will see you on next Monday. So until then, holla.